So we've been having some trouble printing these parts. And one of them is that the supports for these were put on the bottom. This was the so-called conventional supports. And it was very hard in similar materials to get this to yield a good result. And yeah, there may have been other ways to do it, but we had a successful failure, and I'll explain that in a second. The nose cone, similarly, started off great, but when it got to supporting the bottom, it started failing. And I think this was a combination of using adaptive layer heights plus the support. I'm not really sure, but you could see it started failing pretty badly. And then once it caught up to itself, it actually did a good job. So talking to my friend Dale, he was recommending using a PETG interface for the PLA material. This is high temperature PLA. So I was thinking about how to use the PETG interface, and I came up with a couple of interesting ideas. First of all, this part has an interesting mode where it will sit like that. So I decided that we're going to print it like this. And it actually has a T-shaped contact with the plate. It's actually going to be very stable. So that was one decision. The second decision was to go ahead with the PETG interface for the supports. Another decision was similar on this guy, is not to print it like this, which generates a whole bunch of supports, but actually print it like that, because it has good contact there. It should support up to 40-degree angle, and then it should not require supports anymore, which sounds really good. So let's take a look at what actually happened. Here's the result of those decisions, and at first glance, it looks pretty successful. We used black PETG for the support interface, and you can see it there, and you can see it there. Now, we haven't taken this off the supports yet. We're going to do that on this video. But that looks like it was a raging success. Everything else about the nose cone came out great. The downside of using, now I'm using an X1C. The downside of using the PETG interface on the X1C is that every layer it uses the PETG, it has to change filaments, and that results in a bunch of waste. So this is the waste from that process, and it would have been zero waste if we didn't use the PETG supports, or if I used an H2D printer. So if we use an H2D printer, which I know I'm getting people poking me about, that wouldn't have happened. So if we do a lot of it, it makes sense. But this is my first experiment ever. Now, as we're standing here, I heard a click, like one of the supports, it let go. Look at that. So this let go all by itself from the plate. And I don't know, let's give this a little tug here. Oh, that came out absolutely stunningly. I'm doing this all one-handed, so it's a little hard. There you go. Okay, so that one went really well. We'll de-support that in a second. How about this guy? Now, this guy's already loose. It's amazing what happens when the plate cools off. One of the problems with white is it shows everything, which is okay. I don't care. These guys will be... Now, this is the guy I'm worried about. Let's see if he comes off easily. No, it's going to need a little love. Oh, look at that. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So if I had two hands, I could probably get this cleaned up. Oh, no, it comes right off. Look at that. So that's the PETG releasing from the PLA HT, or the HT-PLA, and it works pretty fantastically. So So little tiny stuff going on, but huge improvement over where we were. And that center is also just support, so that pokes out. And there's the landing pad in PETG, and everything that it decided it needed to build. So the instructions in the slicer were to use PETG as the interface. Interestingly, the slicer automatically said, "Oh, you need to change these parameters in order to successfully do that." I won't get into the details right now. "Do you want me to take care of that for you?" And I said, "Why, yes. Yes, I do." And it did. So there it is, my first experience with the PETG support trick. Glad I did it in black and white so it's so obvious. I'm gonna need both hands to get these things de-supported, but I wanted to share the success with you guys.